いつから魔王学院は子供の遊び場になったんだ？
見ろ、犬毛のゼネスだ。
おい、貴様だ貴様！
魔力が小さすぎて目に入らなかった。
There's nothing as satisfying as watching arrogant characters get humbled hard in the most humiliating manner. From casual instant kills to diabolical mockeries, these are some of the most disrespectful moments in all of anime. When it comes to destroying cocky bastards and putting them in their places, no one can do it as well as Anos from the Demon King Academy. Right after our MC reincarnates and joins high school, this arrogant a-hole messes with him, assuming that he's easier to pick on. The dude tries to show off by using his flashy fire magic, but our MC casually blows it off and uses his own magic to leave him in defeat. But this guy never learns. He challenges Anos once again in a duel, except this time, he's equipped himself with an anti-magic armor and a demonic sword. But our MC, being the reincarnation of the almighty Demon King himself, was not about to go down that easily just because of his added inventory. Now the most disrespectful part? Anos declares he wouldn't move an inch, nor will he use any magic. Instead, he made his heart beat so loud that it ended up destroying his opponent. But this guy is as arrogant as they come, and he provokes our MC by saying that he will never admit defeat, even if it kills him. So our dude makes him eat his words by killing and resurrecting him over and over again, until he admits defeat. Absolutely diabolical.
Zecto.
7つの大罪ボックス真のバン。
久々の散歩はいいね。
There's a reason why 7 Deadly Sins was the talk of the town back in the days, and it's all thanks to the dozens of badass moments that simply go hard. And one such moment is this scene where our guy Ban humbles this arrogant lady in a humiliating manner. Ban is an immortal man who lets himself get locked up in prison just to feel alive. With stakes piercing his body, pain was the only thing that kept him sane in his endless life. But Jericho, who was in charge of the prison, had no clue that the man was staying there on his own will, and started acting all high and mighty, thinking that he was too weak for her. But when Ban finally decided to leave the prison, he casually breaks his shackles, dodges her sword swings, and even gets a neat haircut out of her attacks.
お前才能あるぜ。散髪の。
バカな。お兄様を殺したのですね。
と言われてもね。
死になさい。
お前が死ね。
Whether it's anime or video games, final bosses always deserve some respect. Be it their epic battle against the good guys or their pivotal role in the story, they normally get their screen time and flex their worth one way or the other. But not in the instant death series. Our MC has this absurd power that can kill anything and everything in existence. This even works on laws of the world like gravity and friction, so he's practically invincible. As if that isn't OP enough, he also has the ability to sense any ill intent aimed towards him and kill his enemies in an instant. Stacked with such undefeatable skills, our guy makes a joke out of the final boss of the series. The villain, after taking her final form, makes a grand entrance to exact revenge on our MC for killing her brother, but our guy Yogiri casually tells her to yeet herself, and one-shots her. That's it. No boss-worthy fight sequences, no last-minute revivals, just pure and plain death. Utterly disrespectful.
だよね。別にこんなやつぐらいどうにでもなるよね。
さつけてござるよ、高藤殿。スリスリスリスリ。
さあ、ここからだ。ガランの。
Next up, we've got this insane moment from Hell's Paradise where our MC flexes his overwhelming strength for the first time ever. Gabimaru, infamously known for his insane fighting skills and his undefeated record, gets challenged by another prisoner after being sent to the Paradise Island. It was a sneak attack that sent our MC flying, after which the villain declared that he was gonna defeat him to test his strength. Now this guy was built like a tank, carrying dozens of weapons, making our MC look like a toddler, so he really was convincing for a moment there. But what happened next was simply mind-blowing. Our MC got back up practically unharmed, and even with his hands all tied up, he still accepted the duel. He promised not to remove his shackles during the fight, and gave a major handicap to his opponent. Even then, our guy casually beats the hell out of the gigantic dude and shows him just how outclassed he is.
やっぱりやりづらいよ、手縄だと。
一撃
But of course, as with all other arrogant characters, this guy doesn't want to admit defeat, which ended up leading him into becoming a human pincushion. Our MC used his own weapons to skewer him to death, completely disrespecting his enemy.
ああ、無駄な時間を過ごした。ちゃんと手縄はしてあるぞ。
はい。
どこへ行く？
タバコに火をつけんか。気の利かんやつだ。
If there's one lady in anime who's always calm, collected, and badass, it has got to be Hellsing. In this scene, even after being threatened with a gun to the head, this woman bosses around her opponent and demands him to light her cigar, feeling no pressure whatsoever. Not only that, she taunts him into lighting it, as if she owns the dude, absolutely disrespecting him and his threat. And what's crazier is that the guy actually gives in and does what she wants, throwing off every single person in the scene. Apparently he's got a weakness for the bossy type. That said, our boss lady wasn't the kind of girl to let things end there. Instead, she talked the team's leader into escorting her to her house, making a joke out of the first guy's demand of taking her into custody.
脅しは効かんぞ。撃ちたくば撃って。急いでるんだ。行くぞ。
おーい、ハト！どこだ？もっとやろうぜ！
Luffy's Gear 5 fights are probably some of the most disrespectful moments in all of One Piece. In this scene where Rob Lucci faces our MC for the first time in a long while, our guy absolutely humiliates him in an all-out beatdown. Lucci, who had no idea how OP Luffy had become, challenged him to a fight thinking he'd get an easy win this time. Acting all high and mighty, he was claiming that things were about to get fun after watching Luffy go Gear 5 on him. But a literal second later, Luffy makes him eat his words with a single punch that sends him flying before the guy could even react. Now Lucci tries to make a comeback with his own upgraded transformation, but our MC tanks every single one of his attacks and casually sends him flying once again. To add insult to injury, he then laughs at his opponent who went crashing into a building and disrespects the poor guy through and through.
Oh!
いい年していつまでも遊んでんじゃねえよ。
なんだその目は。俺をそんな目で見るな。
わかるよ、お前の気持ち。
This moment from Mob Psycho 100 just hits different. Not only does a bunch of cocky villains get destroyed, they get done in by a guy who's got no idea what's going on. During the fight against this evil organization known as Claw, Mob transfers his overwhelming psychic powers to Reagan temporarily, but neither of them had any clue that it was happening. Thanks to that, the villains who were dominating the fight until then with their psychic abilities get absolutely stunned by how Reagan tanked their attacks with ease. Our guy casually brushes away their superpowers and treats them like they were some scammers pretending to be espers.
その刀、やっぱり偽物だったんだな。
In reality, it's not that they didn't have psychic abilities, it's just that Reagan ended up getting far stronger powers that easily surpassed all of their abilities combined. After making a joke out of the villains by parrying their attacks, our guy proceeds to humiliate them by giving life advice and calling them out for being childish.
世界を見てないくせに世界征服？まずはその幼稚な肩パッドを脱いで大人になれ。お前もだ。社会から逃げたいだけなんだろ。
The way he breaks their ego and makes them get on their knees is absolutely disrespectful.
今さら庶民に戻れと。
庶民だよてめえは。平民大衆の一部。俺は庶民だ。出た。お前らは何だって？
あいつは
知ってるの？
キラー、あいつとは戦うな。あいつの特徴はその異常なまでの握力、指の力。あんな異常殺人鬼の相手をすることはねえ。事件は今年だけじゃないからな。まあおい、キラー。
There are a handful of disrespectful moments in Hunter x Hunter, but the first ever time Killua shows off his badass assassination skill is on another level. During one of the Hunter exams, our boy had to fight against this mass murderer who had brutally killed dozens of people with just his bare hands. And the sadistic villain declares that he couldn't care less about the exam or about reducing his sentence, and all he wanted was to hear his opponent scream. Unfazed by all the scary talk, Killua agrees to fight till death and proceeds to pull one of the most disrespectful moves in anime history. Right as the villain was rambling on and on about how he was gonna do the killing, our boy casually moved in front of him and ripped his heart out in an instant. The confused villain turns around to find that his heart was not where it's supposed to be and begs for him to give it back. Now, as if he wasn't disrespectful enough, Killua then places the heart on the dead murderer's hands, giving his heart back just like he asked. Absolutely diabolical.
あいつ一体何者なんだ。
教えてあげる。手出して。
触れられん。寸前で止まる。
こっちまで恥ずかしくなる。
Gojo Satoru is hailed as the strongest sorcerer in the modern world, but Jogo, a fairly overpowered cursed spirit, was not convinced one bit. So, in an attempt to see his capabilities firsthand, he sneaks up on Gojo and launches a full-on surprise attack. Then, assuming that he was dead, Jogo was about to leave in disappointment, which is when our guy casually shows up unscratched and lets the villain know that he was still very much alive. Now being slightly surprised, Jogo continues his onslaught, going all out with his attacks over and over again, but Gojo just doesn't take any damage. Then, in one of the most disrespectful moments of them all, Gojo asks the villain to place his hands on top of his own, and when Jogo reluctantly does, he understands why his attacks never reached him. But, before he could even react, our guy grabs hold of the villain's hands and punches the absolute lights out of him. Now you'd think this is where the disrespect ends, but no. He leaves the half-dead Jogo alone to go grab his student, so that he can use this opportunity to teach him about domain expansion. He then goes ahead and triggers the poor dude by calling him weak, and uses his domain expansion to completely destroy the villain in his full power.
どこへ行った。
ごめんごめん。どこ？ねえ。
自ら足手まといを連れてくるとは。
大丈夫でしょ。だって君弱いもん。
この地面の下に本体が隠れてやがるのか。いろんなものを入れてやるぜ。泥、砂、雲、とアリ。やろう。まだまだまだまだまだまだ。
Alright guys, prepare for the most disrespectful moment in all of anime. Our dudes Polnareff and Avdol really went out of hand in bullying this poor villain into showing himself in front of them, and the way they do it is absolutely disrespectful. Cameo is one of Dio's henchmen who hides himself underground in his fight against our rowdy duo. But after finding out about this, these two decide to mess with him in the most hilarious ways possible. From sticking their fingers inside his breathing straw, to pouring insects and dirt into it, they did all sorts of things to torture the guy, just out of spite. But what really sealed the deal was the moment they decided to take a piss inside his breathing straw, laughing away like they're having the best time of their lives. The villain then jumps out of the ground and begs for their forgiveness, but our guy Avdol, having no intention of letting things slide, burns him to a bloody crisp. Now I cannot finish this video without mentioning this viral moment that broke the internet, the time when Eren made a joke out of the Jaw Titan. Despite being outnumbered by enemies, our guy deals with every single one of them like a champ. And right after finding out the main body of the Warhammer Titan, the way our guy uses the Jaw Titan like a can opener is just unbelievably disrespectful. He shoves the crystallized body into his mouth and forcefully crushes it open like he's cracking a nut. This diabolical move shows how little Eren respected his opponents and just how committed he was to realizing his goals. And guys, if you're in the mood for some stone-cold plot twists, check out this video where we've ranked some of anime's most finest and coldest betrayals that make you go damn. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.